I don't know, guys, what you think that is this an individual company's responsibility, or does it come to the government's level that they should be putting in more checks, border control probably, security at the airports. Who should be called responsible for it?
What I believe is that everyone should be held responsible for this thing. Governments, regulatory bodies, companies providing solutions for anti-money laundering and all that. Because I mean, it's the responsibility of everyone to prevent any kind of bad activities happening around these days. So
I agree, and it's an issue for everyone, not just the governments or private companies, because it leads to a lot of problems that we face on a daily basis. Like, we're seeing more and more human trafficking. We're seeing, more access to drugs. We're seeing other sorts of crimes, and everything's possible when money is not accounted for.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we know, and we have seen it ever since. But I think instead of just calling the governmental bodies or the regulatory bodies responsible, I think media is not playing the right part, because you see a lot of movies, right?
Yeah.
You see a lot of shows that actually I feel like they're educating the people that how you could do the bad part, Some of the movies will tell you that how could you steal the money?
yeah,
How could you rob the bank? Or how could you not just turn the things down, melt the things down, and you could just take it out anywhere in the world?
Are you talking about Italian Job?
Oh, not to
yeah.
forget that amazing movie. That took out the entire gold. They showed the world that how you could, sink a hole right behind or beside the tunnel, and you could just take all the things out, and you put shove it at the trunk of your car, and you just vanish in the air.
Yeah, that's crazy. Like the schemes that people employ. Yeah, and
Yeah, that's what happens every time. They're too smart when it comes to playing the gray area or play bad.
I think it's really interesting how Hollywood's like showing us that. And I actually have an interesting fact for you. That famous movie Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah.
So we all know the story and how it's based on like Jordan Belfort. But interesting fact regarding that, one of the financiers of that movie was a Malaysian guy called, his name was Jolo. And he was uncovered in one of the biggest scams in South Asia. And a lot of politicians were discovered after that. So it's like, those people telling their own stories through Hollywood.
And yet he had a chance to finance a world famous movie.
Exactly, yeah.
I think it is the media's responsibility to show the real picture, and not just giving the art message from the movies and all these seasons that people are watching nowadays. And I think clearly everybody's responsible, giving out the wrong message. Instead, we should be, considering the things that should be done. And I think before going to the governmental bodies or the regulatory bodies, it is media's responsibility, because they are the first one to know what is happening.